Hello and welcome to yet another episode of We Talk Talent. Today we have a very special guest with us, Ina Bajwa, who is the Vice President, Tata Communications. She leads the learning, leadership, and organization development and future of work efforts for Tata Communications globally, in addition to driving the HR role for the sales function. With more than 18 years of experience in human resources and has worked across sectors such as technology, banking, and consulting. Prior to Tata Communications, Ina has worked with BCG, HSBC, and SR Group, holding various leadership positions in HR, including global roles with specialized experience in areas of talent management, learning, leadership, and organization development. Welcome to the show, Ina. Super excited to host you.
Thank you very much, Abid. Looking forward to our conversation.
Ina, my first question to you is, how is your industry tackling the changes that the workplace has gone through over the past couple of years? If you could share a brief overview with us, what were the challenges, what were the roadblocks, how you jumped those roadblocks and navigated your way out?
Sure, Abid. I'm sure you would have heard of the joke doing the rounds at the start of the pandemic, saying that the digital transformation was actually led more by the pandemic than any of the CIOs or the CDOs. Being in the industry of digital transformation, we are uniquely positioned as a digital ecosystem enabler. We saw that the pandemic actually changed many dimensions of the workforce overnight. The first year, of course, saw a huge demand for the business of the digital transformation products and services for companies who are our clients across industries, because there was just no other way to continue being in business. And that in turn saw employees, rise up to the occasion and deliver the business outcomes, all working from home and while dealing with the pandemic. And we've actually never seen a better camaraderie in teams united by a singular purpose of making their teams and in turn their customers win in the marketplace. And it was in the second year, especially in the Indian market, after the brutal second wave of COVID, that we saw that the priorities of people changed significantly. And that's when, the so-called great resignation or the great reset began. But for businesses like ours, we knew that the digital skills were in significantly high demand, and employees across the industry chose workplaces that suited their newfound way of living for reasons that varied from flexibility, choosing to continue working from their native places, to higher compensation, to better work-life balance, to purposeful or meaningful jobs. Now, obviously, the attrition saw a significant spike. And, while on the business side, the demand for products and solutions, from our customers was high, companies actually struggled with maintaining the operating capacity. And that gave rise, to companies to fuel innovation in, how they were engaging and how they were retaining talent. Focus on people centricity was significantly enhanced. It became center stage. And companies who fostered an open and approachable workplace environment, especially with leaders and managers heavily invested in their teams, and companies who offered flexibility to accommodate talent needs, employees engaging in purposeful work, that led to the company's growth on one side as well as their own career growth, were much, much ahead in dealing with the talent challenges. In fact, I was reading very recently that according to the PwC's India Workforce Hopes and Fears survey, the shift to hybrid work, which is the topical discussion these days, is expected to continue, because 81% of employees in India believe that the jobs can be done remotely, and 31% of those who can work remotely already are working in a hybrid way. And also, the employees' wish lists for companies have changed, and they now have more power overemployment terms. And of course, 84% of workers think that following COVID-19, the culture of their company has improved. So that's a bit of the view, from an industry side and, the talent market that we're into. Internally, as a global company, we've always had progressive, best-in-class working policies in place for quite a while now, like work from home, flexible working hours, virtual collaboration environments, as well as a variety of unified collaboration technologies. So as a result, when the pandemic actually hit, we were well prepared to shift to a work from home mode. We went from a workforce where only 2% of our employees or workforce worked from home permanently to 98% working from home in flat 15 days. So I think that was a significant shift for us, but it was seamlessly sort of managed. To date, our employees have actually taken remote working in stride, since collaboration with remote colleagues was already the norm, and our teams are quite comfortable leveraging chat, voice, video, and collaboration tools to get their jobs done. Of course, now we announced return to office in a hybrid mode effective 1st of April 2022. And our focus so far has been, to drive the unique value proposition of people coming to offices as building connection and building, collaboration, teams coming together to whiteboard. There are a lot of labs that we have, physical labs where, real-time innovation happens. So focusing on some of those core aspects so that, there is a strong pull for employees, especially those who are doing critical roles across our value chain. And then, over these last 2.5 years, we've also ensured that our employees are well equipped with skills, in the evolving technology landscape, and be future ready. So for example, our shift to enabling the virtual life cycle experiences through intelligent digital platforms ranging from onboarding, induction, learning, career development, hiring was seamlessly managed. There was an increased frequency of all hands calls with all our employees, to engage them in updates on the company. Managers engaged with their employees in no agenda calls to regularly check in. There were frequent pulse surveys. The whole idea was that as a company, we stay as close to gauging the employee segment as possible. And then quickly, take actions and in a very agile way, get to solutions. Well-being, of course, was a significant focus, and we enhanced our employee assistance program offerings. There were regular meditation sessions, there were fitness sessions, etc. And we're currently in a stage where we're exploring what more can be done. And of course, Tata Communications Learning Academy was leveraged significantly to drive learning and development, both for deep skilling as well as bite-sized learning. So those were some of the things up.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and sharing the overview how you manage those challenges. My second question to you, Anna, is what are some of the most prominent challenges organizations in India face to utilize the gig economy at its full potential? What are your thoughts?
There was a recent report by Niti Aayog policy brief where they said that the gig economy in India has been expanding since the global pandemic, and work from anywhere basically is now a reality. And India's workforce is actually growing by around 4 million people annually, and most are millennials and Gen Z workers, and showing an increasing preference for gig contracts has been a trend line. We've experienced that internally as well. A lot of people who were reevaluating, what they want to do. Some of them, of course, have moved into, other companies, but in our conversations, we did end up hearing that they are reevaluating whether they can go the gig way. And there's another report that adds that India is likely to have around 350 million gig jobs by 2025, which basically means that there's a huge opportunity for job seekers to capitalize on and adapt to the changing work dynamics. So that's a little bit of a landscape. And the boom, of course, poses pressing questions on the employment status of the workers involved. One big one is the risk of security breaches and data leaks, which is one of the main challenges, and especially in roles where companies have some of the confidential information, which basically means that till the time that companies do not have a strong process in place, the gig workers cannot actually be utilized in the core work, but only on the peripheral roles. So that's one challenge. Secondly, the gig economy is largely an unrecognized sector, right? And employers first need to have a policy in place that governs the terms of contracts and the benefits of gig workers. And while gig workers work for organizations under a contract, there are apprehensions that they could be deprived of common benefits such as social security coverage, leaves, break from shifts, or payment of minimum wages, etc. So I think those are some of the significant challenges facing this sector.
How is your organization providing better work policies for gig workers to give them the same opportunities as the regular workforce? If you can share a few initiatives with us, that will be great.
Absolutely. So, we've actually been, as a company, we've been on this journey for about 3 to 4 years, and we offer two types of gig workers, internal as well as external. Our internal gig workers are engaged over a platform called Project Marketplace, where, the employees declare their skills. Largely, they are skills that they've learned through our learning and development ecosystem, and they want to practice them in projects, so that they can become role ready for their aspired or next level roles. And the project managers, on the other hand side, post projects and crowdsource through this platform, people who match the capabilities and skills. And every year we have 100 plus projects that are in action and basically driven. And we have a product manager for the entire platform who drives this in a seamless manner. So this has been our internal sort of gig workforce that we tap into. The external gig workers, on the other hand side, are the source of people who we engage with largely through our partnership with the global freelancer network. And this took us significant time to adopt because one was that the mindset of managers to shift towards accepting the freelancers could actually contribute to their ongoing critical projects took a lot of time. So, we saw an uptake of freelancers really on, very, very basic projects. We're still on the journey, a lot of time to move ahead. In fact, this year we're thinking of some significant big changes. And over a period of time, so far, we have simplified the process. And, and of course, the turnaround times that you can find a freelancer for a particular project. In terms of policies, given that, this shift is continuing to happen, there are no significant, policies that we've announced, but yes, we're on our way on that path, and we will sort of soon make that as a pull factor for attracting freelancers into our network. In a lot of ways, we also have a part-time policy. In a lot of ways, part-timers also can be considered as gig workers, and for part-timers the policies are just the same as regular workers, right? Is just cut short by half whatever that a regular employee gets. But I think the moot question here is that even after announcing policies, is that something that freelancers are really looking for, or are they really looking to be treated as regular workforce? So I think that there should be some research around preferences that could actually lead to companies deciding that. And hopefully, I think over the next couple of months, we'll get there as well.
My last question, since you are a learning and development expert, this is a very simple, basic, but yet very important question. How do you see the significance, the importance of soft skills evolving in the future? Please share your thoughts.
So Abid, actually, we call soft skills as power skills in Tata Communications, for the simple reason that soft skills are actually very hard to develop. Right? So we call them power skills because being a heavily technical organization, we've realized, especially over the last 5 years, that it's only the combination of technical skills and power skills that can actually make you win in the marketplace. It's not either or, right? So I think the importance has always been there. It's just that given that, we've gone through such a transformation, through the pandemic, and people are realizing that, workplaces, the cultures need to be much, much more different, open, adaptive to changes. I think the focus on power skills has become more evolved. So, being able to navigate through ambiguity, resolving conflicts, being empathetic, and listening is a significant skill. Whether you're in a sales job, listening to what your customers' priorities are, or whether you're in human resources or legal or tax, come to any sort of function, listening skills are critical. So I think over a period of time, we'll see that the importance of power skills is pretty much equal to that of any technical or functional skills in any industry.
Thank you, Ina. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And I'll take a note that yes, in Tata Communications, you don't mention soft skill, you mention power skills. And that's a very nice term to use for soft skills. Thanks, Ina. Once again, it was lovely hosting you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.